One of the things I get asked quite often is whether or not I grow a lot of vegetables. And the answer is I really don't grow that many vegetables anymore. I used to grow a lot more when I first started gardening, but the reality is I'm just not very good at it. I can grow the vegetable itself, and right around this time of year when they start producing some vegetables or fruit, whatever it is, I'm pretty good in terms of going out, picking them, utilizing them, putting them into our dinners or what have you. But then once the season really gets going and I have 10 pounds of tomatoes and zucchinis coming out of my ears and cucumbers that I don't even know what to do with, it just gets away from me so quickly. And I'm not very good at canning. I'm not very good at preserving things. And I just don't really have enough people to give them to. I've tried. They've actually asked me to stop. So I've kind of given up because it honestly ends up going to waste. And it's not something that I enjoy all that much. Now, I say that as I stand behind all these herbs. So while I did significantly scale back on vegetable production, and basically I'm just growing some peppers and hot peppers and figs, the herbs are kind of out of control. And as we know with herbs, the more you cut on them, the more you get. So today I'm going to be trying out about 7 different types of recipes that are a little bit different than your normal recipe. And I want to walk you through what those recipes are. Now, let me know in the comments below as well how you guys are also using your herbs, because there's a lot of things out there as I was doing some research that I found that I never heard of before. And there's so many medicinal properties to herbs that we don't even know about. So let's go ahead and get started. So one of the things that I had found online, and you guys may have found this also recently because I believe her video went viral on one of the socials, whether it's TikTok or Instagram, was a woman who basically took the tops of her strawberries, you know, the part that we need either compost or throw in the garbage, and she made a simple strawberry syrup out of them. Now, I went ahead and did that. And I will tell you, you know how some of the people that we see online, they taste test something and they're like overly dramatic about how good it is. This actually was that good. It was outstanding. My son was obsessed with it. We poured it all over everything. We poured it on our ice cream. We poured it into our smoothies. We had it mixed in with our seltzers. It was really, really good. What I ended up doing was taking that same idea and making a mint simple syrup as well. So same exact concept where I put the mint in a jar with a cup of sugar, and then I would shake it. Now what would end up happening is there was some liquid from the mint leaves releasing some liquid itself, but a lot of the sugar actually crystallized at the bottom. So what I did was just in my tea kettle, I warmed up some hot water and I pour it in here, and now I'm waiting for it to turn into that syrup, which will only take maybe a day or two. So every time I kind of walk by it, I just shake it up a little just to make sure that that sugar dissolves and is starting to form that syrup. So I know if we grow mint, we all have an abundance of mint. This is one of those ways that you can use your mint. Now you can use this in salad dressings. You can use this to make mint lemonade, which is a delicious summery drink. Or you can use this to make a mint mojito, which is also one of my favorites. So let me know in the comments if you guys have tried this or are going to try it, because I can't wait to make a lemonade with it. All right, now I have harvested a bunch of sage, and sage has a lot of different medicinal properties. You can go ahead and do a little bit of research on it on your own, because I'm just a lady on the internet, but it can really support your digestive health. It has a lot of antibacterial properties. It can be used as mouthwash. It can be used as skincare, but make sure to do a little bit of research on it. I'll also write a little bit about it in the description box, but don't just go by what I say. Make sure to kind of check it out for yourself as well. So what we're doing is we are making a sage tincture. So I have harvested all the leaves, stem and all. I'm going to give this a rough chop, and I'm going to pour it into this jar that you're going to use about that much, whatever that is. All right, now we're gonna take a little bit of vodka. Now, funny story about this vodka. It is Smirnoff, which I don't really drink. And when I was cleaning out my parents' house, I found this tucked away in the attic, all the way in the back of a closet. It is from 2002. It's almost as old as I am. Just kidding. I'm about double that age. But since I don't really drink Smirnoff, I figured this is probably a good way to use it. So we're going to crack this guy open. Oh, he was open. So this bottle was 750 milliliters, and I used the entire thing along with the chop sage. Now, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to shake it, and I'm going to store it in a cool, dry place for about 4 to 6 weeks. And then the tincture will be complete. Now, again, you can use this for digestion. So you can take a drop of this in the morning and the evening. It should really help for digestion. You can use it as mouthwash. There are many other ways that you can use this. But this is just one of the ways that you can continue to get the benefits from your sage herbs. All right, the next thing we're going to make is some herbal salt. There's a couple of really nice things about herbal salt. One is it has a really long staying power and shelf life. So, you know, it's almost like dried herbs where they can sit in your pantry for quite a while. The other thing is you can use as many herbs or as little herbs as you want. So for example, I'm gonna be making 2 different types of herbal salts. I'm gonna be making one with rosemary, oregano, and thyme. And then I'm gonna be making one with just rosemary. And if you bundle these into cute little jars and put a nice little tag on them, they actually make really sweet little handmade gifts that you can hand over for the holidays or for someone's birthday with a little note attached to it. Okay, so now what you need for this, a food processor is always helpful, or something to chop those herbs up. I am going to be using the oven. I have it preheating at about 250 degrees, so you don't want to be baking it. You just want to be drying it. Some baking sheets, and then some salt. Now, you want to use coarse sea salt if you're going to be putting it into the food processor. I only have fine sea salt in my pantry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop the herbs up in the food processor, and I'm not going to put the salt in the food processor. I'm just going to mix it up in the baking sheet itself. If I did have really coarse sea salt, I would put everything into the food processor together and let that do the mixing. If I were to put the fine sea salt into the food processor right now, it would basically turn it into a dust and it wouldn't be very good to use. Now with the rosemary, the stems that I got, they're still nice and pliable. They're not the woody stems. I didn't cut it all the way down to the base of the plant. So I'm just gonna throw it in there, stem and all. Any stems that didn't get chopped up, I am going to just pick out of here. Now this is going to be something that's great for like a steak rub, to marinate your steak. All right, now same exact thing, but this time I'm just going to use rosemary. All right, I'm gonna put it on some parchment paper. Now, if your parchment paper rolls, some of you probably know this, but you just crumple it up and it won't roll on you. Again, some of the larger pieces that didn't get chopped up, I'm gonna pick out. Now, this is also salt. It's just a different kind of salt. Again, it's finely, fine salt. So, and put it in the food processor. Mix everything together, and now I'm gonna stick it in the oven. And here's the thing, if, I've said it 9 times already, I don't really measure, but if you didn't put enough salt, you can always add more to it. It's gonna be perfectly fine. It's not that serious. So I'm gonna stick it in the oven. I'm thinking for roughly an hour or so. The goal of this is just to get the herbs to dry. All right, so next we're gonna make 2 different types of sun tea. So sun tea, I believe, is fairly big in the South. We don't really have a lot of it up here in the North. In fact, I don't really know very many people that make it. But we're gonna make it with two different, well, 3 different kinds of herbs, but we're gonna make it 2 different ways. One is lemon verbena. So, I hate to be one of those people that is always talking about how good things smell, but I wish you guys could smell what this kitchen smells like right now between the herb salt in the oven, the basket of herbs sitting next to me, the lemon verbena, it all just smells delicious. So the lemon verbena is excellent for making tea. So I went ahead and picked some of this. So we're just going to put this into the jar. Now you don't even need to chop it the way I am, but I just wanted it to look a little bit prettier rather than have these large stems in here. So we have one with lemon verbena, and then the next one we're going to have is with rosemary and chamomile. Now chamomile, you want to use the flower head, so it really helps to have that picker cone, and if you don't have that picker cone to actually just pick the heads off, what you absolutely have to have is a lot of patience. They're tiny, the stems stick together, but you don't want to use the stems. The stems can add a very bitter taste into the tea. It's really the flower heads, and even once the petals come off, the yellow seed head in the middle still contains a lot of great flavor and a lot of the essential oils that you really want from chamomile. So we're going to be putting these into the jars like so. I'm not putting the woody stems in, just the leaves. And then some chamomile. Try to split that evenly. And then what I'm going to do is fill it with water and then place it in the sun for about 6 hours. Now today's a fairly cloudy day, so there's no sun. Tomorrow will be fine too. And then the sun will do all of the work. It's going to brew itself. Now when I serve this, I'm probably just going to serve it with a little bit of that mint syrup that we just made, and I think it's going to be an excellent summer drink. All right, so this next one is also a tincture, and it is just garlic and oregano. And this is really good for when you're starting to feel a little bit of that cold symptom starting to come on. You're going to take a little bit of this, put it in some tea or dilute it in some way, shape, or form, because the taste of this is a little bit stronger between the herb flavor and the garlic flavor. And it should really help with the symptoms. Either help you feel a lot better or have those symptoms not be as strong. So all I'm doing is I'm peeling the garlic, I'm giving it a very rough smash with my knife, and I'm going to add some oregano, and we're back to our vodka. That's a lot of oregano. I'm not gonna use all of it. Now you're supposed to add about a cup of vodka. I have switched over to Tito's. All right, now same thing as the other tincture. You're gonna let this sit for about 4 to 6 weeks in a cool, dark place. Every once in a while, give it a good shake. And then just in time for cold and flu season, this should be ready. I did just take the salt out of the oven. Everything is nice and dry. Now it does clump together, so all I'm doing is I am breaking up the clumps with my hand to make it nice and fine. You want to let this cool off completely before storing it in an airtight container. Otherwise, it's going to create moisture, and then you're going to have some moisture problems down the road. So make sure this is nice and cool. And you have some really nice steak rub. So here's my airtight container. There's the rosemary. And there's the herbal salt that I'll have to make sure to label as herbal salt, because otherwise I won't remember, even though I think that I will. All right, guys, there you go. So 7 different ways that I was able to use some of my herbs around the garden, and I'm sure that there are a ton more. So I would love to hear from you guys. How are you guys using your herbs? Have you ever tried any of this? Does it work? Do you like it? And tell me what you enjoy. I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you in the garden.